Nous sommes submergés par l'accélération soudaine de l'épidémie.
We're submerged by the sudden acceleration of the epidemic, by a virus that seems to have gathered strength as winter approaches and temperatures fall. Once again, we must have a lot of humility. In Europe, we've all been surprised by the evolution of the virus. Certain countries like Spain, Ireland and the Netherlands have taken stronger measures than ours. However, we're at the same point, overwhelmed by a second wave that we now know will doubtless be harder and more deadly than the first.
Well, Adam Parsons joins us now from Paris and was listening to what the President had to say earlier. Adam, as the French people there wait for lockdown 2, what's the feeling?
It's very interesting, and I thought it was a very interesting address by President Macron. You know, at the start of this crisis, he did an address to the nation that lasted for 45 minutes or so and was, in a sense, quite bombastic. This showed how I think COVID has changed him as a politician. It was shorter, he had PowerPoint slides, he was much more to the point, and also there was a little sense of humility. He said that mistakes have been made by France and by other nations, and he gave some pretty blunt assessments about the fact that if nothing was done, 400,000 people standed to die, that by mid-November intensive care units would be full. And so, for that reason, lockdown measures would have to be taken. And they are serious. Now, restaurants and cafes and bars will close. Funny enough, tonight I drove past a series of pavement cafes here in Paris that were packed with people. He said he has to protect the economy, but he also said that he would make a point of protecting older people, younger people, vulnerable, the poorest members of society and carers. But you will not be allowed to leave your home unless you have good reason. Now, that can be a medical reason, it can be essential work. Clearly, working from home will be prioritised. But you will need, and this is something very particular, I think, to France, you will need not just to have an excuse, you're going to need an attestation, a paper that is filled out with the reason you are leaving your home, and the police will be able to check that. I remember being here in Paris, here in fact on the Arc de Triomphe during the first wave, and seeing the police checking people's attestations, and you face a fine if you don't have one or if they don't believe your reason. This is a serious step up for the French people, and tonight those we've spoken to have actually greeted it with obviously a sense of sadness, but also I think they do recognise that the speed at which this second wave is, to use President Macron's suggestion, engulfing the country means that there has to be a response. And it's not just happening here. Germany has also stepped up its measures today. I think more of a shutdown, you would call that, rather than a lockdown. And in Belgium, where cases are higher per capita than anywhere in Europe now, there is a suggestion that this weekend that they will move perhaps towards a national lockdown. I think Europe, certainly Western Europe, today feels as if it has taken a step back towards that concept of full national lockdowns. And as you can see around me, the traffic is beginning to thin. There's already a curfew in place here in Paris. There is a big step towards a proper lockdown.